I'm not sure if it's too wild to do this in a video journal, but why not? Like, why not just be totally direct with it? It's vulnerable, I guess, but because I don't know any different, I don't feel vulnerable about it. It's just like, it is what it is. I guess the vulnerable part is like sharing this truth about myself to begin with. And the truth is that I have never met my biological father. I've known nothing about him for my whole life. Just zero, really, like no communication about it. Haven't really talked to mum about it. And yeah, it's come up a bunch of times. And I've just been kind of like brushing it aside, like not my issue, like I'm not really that concerned about it. But then talking to friends and people while I'm reflecting on the healing experiences that I've had and the kinds of emotional stuff that's been coming up that I've been dealing with, they're pointing out like that had something to do with your father. And I'm like, well, yeah, cool, but I've dealt with it. And they're like, yeah, but it came up for a reason, you know, like if you're still, stuff's still coming up about like not knowing your dad, even though you say you're cool with it, maybe you're not cool with it. Anyway, I've just been avoiding it, I guess. But maybe I'm still avoiding it now, but I feel really indifferent about it. Like I don't need anything from him. I don't want anything from him. But I guess it would be cool just to like see who that person is and hear the story, like, of how this all came to be, like, just fill in that puzzle piece. So, yeah, what I was gonna do is just say some information on the off chance that somebody knows somebody. And I know that's probably not gonna happen, but whatever. So, I understand his name is Glenn Smith, and he's in his early 60s. His birthday's in June. I believe he has 2 daughters, and he was married at some point, maybe still is. And he's from Ipswich, or he was living in Ipswich at the time of my birth. I also was born in Ipswich. Little fun fact. And yeah, I don't have any information or stories really. Heard a few bits and pieces about how, you know, mum tried to keep in touch and make it possible for me to be in his life or whatever, but yeah, I don't know. It's just a door that I've left closed for my entire life. I guess throughout my teenage years, there are a few times where I was like really difficult for my stepfather, and I used that as like the excuse, like, fuck you, you're not my dad. That's just normal teen angst, right? Like, it's a story as old as time. But yeah, there came a point in my life for sure where I'd come so far on my own that I made the conscious decision that, like, I don't need to know. Like, I don't need to, like, I've become my own man now. So, like it's like I've done all the hard work. I've basically had to more or less raise myself. I mean, I had a stepfather, but like I said, the relationship was dicey, and, you know, I learned a lot from him, but like, yeah, pretty much he caused as many problems as he solved, probably. Not to criticize anybody or whatever, but yeah, I just find myself in this position where I'm going through a thing at the moment where I'm solving problems. Like, I'm not letting things stay shit. So I'm spending a heap of money on my car right now, like completely redoing the whole engine. I'm sorting out my accommodation situation because I've had drug addicts as roommates, like doing hard drugs, and so we got rid of that. and now I've got roommates that are like, one of them's just joined the gym. They're all like trying to live their best lives, and they're ambitious and wanting to do good things. And there's another one coming who doesn't drink or do drugs, as far as I'm aware. That's what I've been told. So building this little dream team in the unit. Like, I'm renting the cheapest possible accommodation that you could have in Australia. That's what I've created for myself. But it does mean that we're sharing a laundry, a kitchen, living room, and a balcony. I've got my own bathroom though, so that's the sweet part. And that's not going to be for much longer either, because like, part of this whole, like, I'm going to solve the problems, like, I'm not going to leave anything unfinished or like unresolved, or like, I'm not going to have anything that's like bothering me at all. Like, even if it's this insignificant thing, I'm starting to hit the insignificant things as well, and just like make things how I want them to be, because why not? But yeah, the next step will be, once I've been living here for, like, I planned to live here for a year and like just accumulate heaps of capital. So I want to move into a bigger place, probably like 3 bedrooms, and have a space to do the healing work and creative stuff and everything like that. And like, really, like, I feel like I've outgrown, I think I said this in another video maybe, but I've outgrown the little shared space that I'm living in now. So yeah, I'm very like forward focused right now, and anything that like needs to be dealt with is being dealt with. I guess that's what naturally happens once you've dealt with like all of the major issues that are affecting you in the present moment, like, that are just like nagging at you and draining you and demanding your attention and awareness. Like, once that's out of the way, then it's like, okay, let's just tidy up the rest of reality. Like, let's just, dust off the surfaces and get it all sparkling fresh. Sort of where I'm at now. And of course, like, it's not like you ever finish that job either. Like, I'm not expecting to like fix my car, move into the new house, like set up my career how I want it, and have my creativity how I want it, and then it's just like, okay, finished, now I can put my feet up and relax. Like, I understand as I grow and evolve, like, the problems and challenges are going to evolve as well. Like, once I've dealt with everything that's in my immediate reality, it's like, okay, where can I contribute beyond like just my immediate environment? So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to, like, one thing I've been working on is like socializing. Like, I laugh because I got mates who are also on the same journey that are just like gone through a massive isolation period. It was COVID, wasn't it? Like, if you were already prone to isolation and not being very social, and then you've been told stay inside and don't fucking touch anything for years, like, it's probably fucked up your social life. It like really stunted your social development. But yeah, it's kind of funny, but it's kind of not at the same time. So yeah, I've been reconnecting with people, but at the same time as well, because I've evolved and grown so much, and so much has changed within me and around me. Like, it's like a whole brand new team, a whole brand new community is around me now. I don't have many mates that have known me for very long, like more than a couple of years. I've got like 2 main people that have known me over a decade that I would still, catch up for a coffee or even like go do some fun stuff together with. 2 people. There's like another maybe 1 or 2 that are out there floating around, where if they showed their face in my reality, like, I'd be happy to see them, but like, they've just we've all just separated off and gone on all these crazy journeys. Yeah, working on, that's like another new challenge for me, is like rebuilding the social fabric of my reality. And yeah. ending this period of isolation. It was deliberate though, like the whole idea was like live in the cheap accommodation, work on your health and fitness, all these things. Like just get yourself how you want to be, and then go out from that place of strength and well-being and meet your people all over again, like build a new tribe. But the tribe's naturally forming all the time, isn't it? Like it's not like you can ever really isolate yourself. Like at the moment, I've got like a lot of mental health people around me, a lot of holographic kinetics people around me, and that's about it. Like it used to be creatives, like before like 2020, before COVID really. My 90% of my social group was creatives, like YouTubers, like Instagram people, because it was like booming like social media economy back then, where you could charge businesses and stuff to just basically have fun and play with technology and make cool shit. It still is probably that way, but I kind of like wasn't feeling the passion contributing in that way. Like there were some clients and people that I met where the message that they were delivering was so powerful that it did fill my cup and like make me feel really excited about being a content creator. But for the most part, what tends to happen is the people that are willing to pay you the most money are the people who, like, their product or service or whatever they're contributing can't really stand on its own feet. As bad as that sounds, like they'll throw more money at you to make content that convinces people to buy their crap. Like, as like judgy as that sounds, like that's sort of what occurs, or what did occur for me. Maybe I can change that, change my outlook and go back in and do some more creative stuff. But yeah, I would always go in to so many things as a creative, and I could see potential. Like that's my lens. I see potential. I see like growth, possibility. I see all the strengths and abilities of the people that are involved in the business, and I'm just like, fuck yes, let's do this. This is epic. Like look at all this amazing stuff. But then I forget about like natural human insecurity and shyness and like the inability to express ourselves. Like, so because I've practiced all this stuff and I'm like really into media, and I have been forever, like even before being an adult, like my teenage years, I pretty much just started making stuff with cameras and programs on the computer and drawing and illustrating and making music. Like I was making full songs by like age 15, just with like a mishmash of tools and bits and pieces, like just, yeah, terrible music, like not stuff that you would ever hear on the radio or like even Spotify or anywhere, but I was expressing myself. So it's natural for me to just like make stuff. But then I get into these businesses and I see these incredible people and I flick the camera on them and they stop being incredible. Like they just like can't, they're like, what do I be? How do I do? And it's like they just malfunction, and I'm like, just keep being exactly the amazing person that you were all the time. But yeah, people get really insecure. And then even when I did, like, I'm a master of like candid creativity, like capturing people in their element without them feeling like they're being recorded. So like I could make a bunch of stuff for these kinds of businesses where I've like caught them really truly being themselves, and then I show them the product and they freak out and they're like, we can't post that, like that's not, you know, the shiny flashy thing that is expected on social media. I'm like, nah, but it's real, it's really you, and you did that so easily and you can do that every fucking day. Like let's just like stop trying to be something we're not and document what's happening right here because it's awesome. So yeah, a lot of clients and people that I'd work with would end up wasting my time completely and then paying me heaps more to make crap. And yeah, it was just, that was my, like, why I kind of got over it, I guess. Haven't really reflected on it that deeply. I kind of just walked away. I was like, do something else. And you know, mental health was already becoming like a really big part of my life as I was going through the creative stuff, because I was making creative stuff for other people and charities and all kinds of things, and then I was like, I think my message is more important than any of these other messages. Like, I think I'm realer, more authentic, and I want to make bigger changes and more significant changes. Like, I've talked about this before too. Like, that was the turning point. So that's when I was like, yeah, mental health. Let's actually figure this shit out. Like, let's help people heal themselves. I don't know how I went from like, I don't know who my dad is, to like talking about that, but I'm sure there's some kind of flow to this that makes some kind of sense. I guess it's just journey. Like, it's just all these changes that I've gone through, with or without that guidance, you know. But I'm also curious because, like, it'd be interesting to meet the dude and see if we're similar. Like, see if all of this stuff makes sense to him. Like, if I was like, look, this is the journey that I've been on, this is all the stuff that I did, and he's like, yeah, you know what, me too, that's how I lived my life. Or maybe it's the opposite, he's just like, fuck, you're a weird cunt. Like, oh, I haven't said that word for a while. It's because I've been talking to my roommates. I'm actually engaging with them more now, like people in the community over here, since like we got rid of the drugs out of the unit, and I'm like comfortable being involved now, like to just a tiny degree, like just being able to have a chat and make a joke here and there. It's like the bogan Aussie language, the C word. It's just like, it's so common and frequent, but then like other cultures are like, what? What are you saying? That's so offensive. Or even other Australians, depending where you go. Or even bogans who say it, have people around them who say it all the time, will get offended by it. I don't know. It's just kind of one of those strange things about culture. I feel weird now. Disclosed a bunch of things. I feel like I kind of went on a ramble about nothing. This is the part of me that like avoids, like, I'll try to turn this into an unpublishable journal, because I'm not sure if I want to share these details that I shared in the start of the video. But it doesn't matter, it's just another thing to like let go. Like, my intention is to find the dude, my dad, my biological father, and say g'day. So now that I've set that intention, and like I've made a few moves, like I've had a look on Facebook and like done a few little bits and pieces. Maybe I should do a little bit more. I don't know anyone who knows the dude. Like, I don't know, like, that's how distant and disconnected it is. Like, Mum can't even give me the name of like one person who would know the dude. Like, so there's not a lot of investigation to be done. There's not a lot of not a lot to inquire about. I guess that's why it's always been like, this is how far I get. Like, I'm just like, well, there's not a lot to go off, so I kind of just have to make peace with the fact that I don't know who it is, and I might never know. So let's just focus on maybe that's what's being shown in this video. Like, I've been filling my life with like such a like huge amount of like experiences where I've turned the dial of like living life up to the maximum and just done heaps of crazy stuff, always on a journey, always doing something. But maybe I'm just trying to distract myself from the fact that I don't know who I am. Maybe. Or maybe like another way of looking at that is, because I don't know who I am, I'm trying everything out. Like, I don't know anything about like my heritage. Like, I know Mum's side a little bit, but even like my whole family is so disconnected. Like, there's no knowledge of like culture or, you know, ancestors or like where we came from, why we're here. Like there's no tradition, there's nothing. It's just fucking, you know, backyard cricket at Christmas time, and we just eat ourselves silly and drink too much piss. Like that's my family's culture. That's our tradition. And there's just never been anything to it. So I've always been out there looking, like, what are other people doing? And I've often made the case as well for like, I don't need to know who my father is, because it's made me more open to all of the possibilities that are out there, other cultures, other ways of being. Like I've explored things because I'm like, maybe that could be something that has something to do with me. Like, so I've always had this like openness to experiencing everything. And yeah, so I guess if you don't know who you are and like you never had like culture or family or tradition that really gave you a sense of identity culturally, like that's what happens. Like you go out and you try everything and you explore, and you like all the unhealthy things that I did as well, like exploring drugs and alcohol and promiscuous sex, like all the stuff. Like maybe I can find like a sense of meaning or completion, or even just a sense of momentary peace in these experiences. Like I went to Thailand and looked deeply into Buddhism and meditation, did all the psychedelic stuff, like explored like every single alternative to mainstream mental health. Like I guess this is all symptoms of not knowing who I am, and that's starting to sound a little bit more profound and interesting than when I first was contemplating this. And I was just like I haven't looked at it, so none of this stuff's ever come up. Like I've never looked at it like this. So that's another byproduct of, at the moment, I'm looking at stuff that I've never looked at, and, you know, expanding my awareness to include everything in my life and not avoiding any particular aspect. And I'm feeling better as a result. Generally feeling better, like feeling more at peace. Like it's like the skeletons in the closet type vibe, you know, like cleaning out the closet. Like what else have I not looked at? Even if I've convinced myself that it's insignificant, let's go through it and find out. Like these, like it's like old boxes in the attic of your memories, like, or your life, like that you've sort of locked it away and gone, that's the end of that. Like we won't look at that until ever. Like we just won't look at it. We'll just take this to the grave. And I guess I've done that with a few things, including my father. I guess that's quite fucking that might be full on for some people, but for me it has been a case of it is what it is. Haven't really reflected on it like this before. If you get anything out of these journals, let me know in the comments below. Share what you're thinking and feeling. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I don't know who out there ever needs to see these journals, but if you think somebody might benefit from what I'm sharing, like pass it on. You might trigger something positive in somebody, trigger their own self-awareness. Like what am I not looking at? And they might go on their own journey because of it. That's what I keep saying. Like that's what I wish for people, I guess, or like what I hope for people. Anyway, that's the end for today.